Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. I love coaching. I love coaching. I love coaching football. And I consider myself to be a student of the game. I consider myself to be someone who cares about making sure that I teach the game the quote unquote right way. And unfortunately, the right way doesn't actually have any legitimate formula other than to give that player the skills that player needs in order to be successful. That might not be the same for every player. I coach linebackers, and I have to talk to certain linebackers different than others, because while they all have a set of skills that they need to know, some of them may not have the same level of athleticism that others have. So I have to show them how to get by or bypass that in their game. It's a delicate balance, right? Because you don't want to tell people things that they might be able to use to cheat the game, because at some point that catches up to them. But you also want to make sure that you're putting them in the best position to be successful. And that's not allowing them to do things that athletically they're just not blessed to be able to do. All of this comes with coaching. And so yesterday on social media, I think I was on Twitter, I heard a coach who coaches in Florida give props to Texas coaches. And before I say this, I don't want people to think that this is me dissing Texas coaches. I appreciated that this coach noticed something, I assume, when he was in Texas, or he had observed something about what goes on in Texas. And so that coach said that the level of coaching in Texas was higher than the level of coaching in Florida. And I had to pause for a second, because I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Good morning, Warrior Nation. We are going to be on the small
And so I thought to myself, wait a minute, this is an issue. But I wanted to try to understand what he said, what he was saying, excuse me. And so what he said was the high school coaching level, and this is coach, because I don't ever want anybody to think that I'm talking about them unnecessarily. I don't have any beef with this coach. This is Coach Tyshawn Peters. He is the OC, and he's an offensive coordinator and a quarterbacks coach in Florida. And he said the high school coaching level in the state of Texas compared to Florida is night and day. The amount of information those Texas kids learn is second to none. Our Florida athletes most of the time are just athletic. That's the ultimate difference. Now, if he had just said, hey, they're coaching their butt off in Texas, I'd have been like, okay. If he would have said, hey, those kids are really learning over in Texas, okay. But he specifically not only took a shot at the kids in Florida, saying that they are just athletic, because that's not true. He also took a major shot at the coaches, which he's a part of. He said it was night and day, and the amount of information that the Texas coaches were teaching the kid was second to none. Second to none? Fam, I know Texas coaches. I watch a lot of film from high school teams in Texas. I've been to Texas and watched games in Texas. There is not better coaching going on in Texas than in other places. I don't even live in Florida anymore. I'm from Tampa. I don't even live in Florida anymore. I live in Georgia. There's not better coaching going on in Texas than's going on in Georgia. Here's the hint. There's great coaching in every single state, and there's bad coaching in every single state. On both sides of the spectrum, there's this part in the middle. The great is great, the poor is poor. The great coaching doesn't always mean great teams. The great coaching might be the 5-5 or 6-4 or 4-6, 4-7 team that would be 0-10 if not for the coaching. The team that wins that one game that they might go over if not for the coaching. See, the real difference between Florida and Texas is the community and school investment. The community and the school investment make all the difference in the world. You know how many independent school districts there are in Texas? You know what you're able to do when you can take a concentrated amount of money from one community, those taxes, and put it towards your school system to create that small ecosystem. You know what you can do? You can pay the head coach over $100,000 to just be the head coach and to not be a teacher and not be the athletic director, just to be the head coach. You can pay coordinators $70,000, $80,000 a year, depending upon where their certification is, but you can only give them a couple classes. You make every athlete at your school or every football player at your school go to the same weightlifting class, go to the same football class that they do during the day. So they get their weightlifting in during the day. They get football knowledge taught to them during the day. Then they go practice. You give them facilities that make the kids want to be at school as opposed to somewhere else. Who wouldn't want to hang out in a $10 million athletic facility? In high school, athletic facilities that look better than the athletic facilities at a lot of colleges. If you want to know the difference between Texas and Florida and the level of coaching that goes on, that's where it is. That's the difference. Period. End.
Staff at this time, please report to the bus ramp.
We have a responsibility as coaches to do the best job we can with the resources that we have. But the high school coach in Florida and apparently here in Georgia, for the most part, they have to do other jobs. That's where they make their money at. Football is a passion, but football doesn't pay the bills in Florida. Football doesn't pay the bills in most of Georgia. So instead of spending all day watching film and working on plays and sitting down and mentoring kids one-on-one about what they need to do on the field, that coach has to teach, or that coach has to work another job and then come in. So it's not as if these Texas coaches are more knowledgeable, because they're not. Again, you have coaches that are knowledgeable, you have coaches that are not. And in between, there's the entire spectrum. That is in every single state. That's in Texas, that's in Florida, that's in Iowa, that's in California, that's in North Dakota. Nobody's reinventing the wheel. Nobody's doing something that's never been done before. Everything's been stolen. Everything's been regurgitated. Everything has been recycled. Everything has been renewed. Don't ever allow somebody to tell you that others are doing or have more knowledge than you when you know it's not the case. Salute to the coaches in Texas. It's not your fault that you are in a state where they care more about football, where the community and the school system cares more about football. That is a salute to you. Salute to my brothers and sisters in Florida. It is not your fault that you're in a state that does not care about football unless it's on a Friday night. You continue to work. You continue to hammer home those fundamentals, those skills. You continue to go to those clinics and combines and make yourself a better coach. Salute to my coaches in Georgia. You continue to work that walk, talk that talk, do the things to help these kids get better, because that's all we can do. I'll never sit here and say, oh, well, this state's coaches are better than that state's coaches. That's not how we get down as a brotherhood. That's not how we get down as a fraternity. Some have more resources than others. That allows them to do more things than others. That don't make them better. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.